There was a time when parents taught their children not with manuals, but with stories. When lessons were passed through hands, voices, and love. A father showing his son how to plant a seed, not because it was efficient, but because it was life. A mother teaching her daughter to read by candlelight, the rhythm of her voice weaving warmth into every word. Childhood was not programmed. It was lived. Back then, people learned by feeling. Children watched their parents fail and rise again. They saw patience, effort, and imperfection. They grew up understanding that mistakes were not errors, but steps toward wisdom. The world was a classroom, and every face was a teacher. Now imagine that same world today. The glow of a tablet replaces the glow of the sun. A voice from a machine reads bedtime stories. Parents scroll while children swipe. The lessons of life have been outsourced to screens, shiny, flawless, indifferent. In the past, a father's voice could calm storms inside a child's heart. Today, synthetic voices soothe with perfect pitch but no soul. The difference is invisible yet profound. Before, the warmth of a parent's hand taught safety. Now, safety is a setting on a device. There is something quietly tragic about a generation that learns empathy from algorithms. Children once learned emotion by watching their parents' eyes, joy, disappointment, pride. Now they watch emojis change expression in a blink, emotion stripped of its depth, its history, its truth. The old world was not perfect. Parents were not always patient. They yelled, they laughed, they failed. But their flaws made their love real. Children saw humanity and mirrored it. Today, they mirror perfection, filtered, corrected, optimized. And what they learn is not how to be human, but how to appear perfect. Imagine the images. A black and white memory of a mother kneeling beside her child, guiding small hands over paper letters. Now, a bright, sterile image of a child staring at a glowing screen while an AI voice says, "Good job." The old image breathes, the new one functions. Once, wisdom came slowly, through stories told at dinner tables, through grandparents whispering the past into the present. Now, knowledge is instant. You ask a machine and it answers in a second. But knowledge without connection is like light without warmth. It illuminates but does not comfort. We built technology to assist us, to free us. But somewhere along the way, we began to surrender to it. Parents no longer teach patience. They hand their children devices that eliminate waiting. They no longer teach curiosity. They rely on search engines to answer every why. Before AI, children learned about life by observing people, seeing how adults handled failure, joy, and loss. Today, they learn from simulations, perfectly designed examples of success without struggle. They are told how to feel by systems that have never felt. Look closely. A boy once looked up to his father as he fixed a broken chair, learning not just carpentry, but persistence. Now, a boy watches a tutorial and fixes it faster, but learns nothing of patience, nothing of failure, nothing of pride. Technology has given us access to infinite knowledge, yet stolen the intimacy of learning. When a child asked a parent a question, the pause before the answer mattered. That pause was thought, emotion, presence. Now, the answer comes instantly, and with it, silence. There's a generation growing up that confuses intelligence with wisdom. Machines can provide information, but they cannot provide meaning. And meaning is what made those old moments unforgettable. The trembling voice reading a story, the tired smile after a long day, the imperfect lessons that carried truth because they came from love. I call it evolution, but it feels like erasure. We have raised a generation that knows how to command machines, but not how to listen to people. They can communicate instantly across the world, yet struggle to connect with the person next to them. Imagine an old photograph. A family gathered around a small table, light flickering, laughter filling the room. Now, imagine a modern living room, everyone together, yet alone, faces lit by separate screens. The noise of silence fills the air. This is not nostalgia, it is warning. The more we automate, the less we participate. The more we teach through machines, the less our children learn what it means to feel. Artificial intelligence can teach facts, but not values. It can simulate empathy, but not compassion. It can predict outcomes, but not understand the cost of love, of loss, of forgiveness. When parents once told bedtime stories, they were not just teaching language, they were passing down identity. Each story carried the scent of home, the warmth of belonging. Now, AI tells stories optimized for engagement, not connection. And a generation grows up knowing everything but feeling nothing. Look again. In one world, a mother's hand guides her child through the alphabet, her laughter filling the stakes with love. In the other, a machine tracks progress, corrects errors instantly, praises efficiently, but never hugs, never smiles, never feels pride. Science has advanced beyond imagination, but our souls are starving. We are creating a generation raised by machines that mimic humanity so perfectly we forget what being human means. Children now speak to devices more than to their parents. They say, "Hey Siri," "Hey Alexa," but rarely, "Hey Mom." And parents, overwhelmed, accept this as normal. But it is not normal. It is new. And it is dangerous. When a child falls, once they ran to their parents. Now, they ask the internet how to stop the pain. When they feel lonely, they open apps filled with empty connection. When they are sad, an algorithm decides what song might make them smile. We are building a world where emotions are data points, where comfort is coded, where childhood is a product. And yet, deep down, the human heart remembers. It remembers what it was like to learn through love, not logic. It remembers the smell of home-cooked meals, the laughter shared after mistakes, the lessons taught not by machines, but by eyes that cared. What happens to a society that forgets how to teach humanity? It becomes efficient, yes. Productive, yes. But hollow. Children grow into adults who can solve problems instantly, but cannot sit with pain, cannot forgive, cannot love beyond perfection. The consequences are already here. Anxiety rising. Loneliness becoming an epidemic. A world more connected than ever, yet more divided than it has ever been. Machines are not to blame, we are. We have mistaken convenience for care, speed for wisdom, information for truth. But it's not too late. We can still teach the next generation what the machines cannot. Empathy, patience, the beauty of imperfection, to hold a hand, to listen, to forgive. Maybe we need to turn off the devices for a while, to let silence speak again, to tell stories not for knowledge, but for love. To remind children that life is not a simulation, it's a miracle. The world before AI was messy, noisy, alive. The world today is precise, controlled, efficient. But what makes us human lives in the chaos, in the flaws, in the laughter that breaks rules, in the tears that no algorithm can predict? In the end, the machines will know everything except what it means to hold your child and feel the heartbeat of a future that only love can build. Because people were once shaped by people, and if we are not careful, soon people will be shaped by machines. But perhaps, somewhere in the eyes of a child, there still lives a spark that remembers that being human is not about perfection. It's about connection. And that is something no intelligence, no matter how artificial, can ever replace. Boca chegou ao limite pleno gradus para o GPT-5. Como es chatem amanexo, Boca precisa do GPT-5 para continuarlo. Su limite será redefinido após 340. Novo chat phaser upgrade there.